What's up everybody, Doki here, and welcome to the first part of a tutorial series that I'm going to be doing for two reasons. One is to help out the community and help you guys learn a little bit more about graphics. I'm not going to give out, all my secrets, of course, because that wouldn't be smart, because then you guys would know how to do everything I do, and then, why would you need me? No, of course, even if I gave out all my secrets, you guys would still need me, because not anyone can just design. But I also wanted to thank you guys for 30 subs. I wanted to say we wouldn't have been able to get this far this fast without you guys' support, so this is my way I'm giving back. 30 subs, you guys get the first part of a tutorial series where I'm going to teach you how to make pretty simple but nice 2D backgrounds in Photoshop. Probably every 10 or 15 subs I'll release another part, so we'll go with that. But probably at 40 subs there won't be another part, because you'll get something else at 40 subs. So yeah, well, let's go ahead and get started. Here you can see I have my template open. I'm using my my unpartnered background template, and I'm just going to be starting with the first part of this tutorial, which is backgrounds. The stuff that's going to be behind everything that you're putting on top of it. Now, most of the time when I'm doing these, I like to do a couple different things. Sometimes I use gradients in the back, and sometimes I use just solid colors. For this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and teach you a little bit about gradients. I'll go over those more in the future when I get to further parts in this 2D series. But what I like to do is you're going to choose the two colors that you want. So let's say your main theme is like a bluish color, because I like blue. So go ahead and make blue your forecolor and black the other. And keep blue in the front. So what you're going to do is you're going to come over here to this little bucket, and you're going to click on it, right-click on it, and you're going to click on the gradient tool. Now this has got to be one of the most useful things in Photoshop, is gradients. All you need to do is just have it on the radial gradient. We'll be using just this little side gradient later on. There's other types of gradients, but we don't need those. You're just going to need the radiant. Go ahead and zoom out, and just go ahead and guesstimate the middle of where you're working on, and just shift click and drag out to about right there. And as you can see here, you get this nice black on the edges, and then you get the blue, the transition into the blue on the middle. And this is pretty much the basic starting point of what's going to be behind everything. And of course, that's not going to be the end of the tutorial. If you were just doing a solid color, what I would do is start with another new layer, and you want it to be blue themed, so just go ahead and get the paint bucket tool and click the blue in there. And then what I like to do is duplicate that layer, and this is it's a little too perfect. So usually what I'll do is I'll go into Pixelate, and there's all different kinds of options you can do in Pixelate. I also like to go into Noise, and there's all kinds of options you can do in there. So we're just going to do the most basic, which is just add noise, and then go ahead and just combine those two layers using Control-E, and here you have like a really basic, slightly textured background to work with. So we're going to go ahead and create another layer, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the same color just right on top. And then we're going to lower the opacity to about 50, and then it's a little bit cleaner, but it's still got that slightly textury look. Go ahead and create one more layer, and we're going to go ahead and give it a little bit of darkness to it, and there we go. This is the basic backgrounds you'll be working with. You'll either be using this or this if you're doing your blue theme background. And it just depends on what kind of look you're going for. Mainly I use my gradient overlay look for backgrounds that are in the COD style, and I use this for like just professional style backgrounds. So the next step that you're going to do is you're going to want to add a little bit more texture to both of these, because they both right now look pretty damn boring. So we're going to go ahead and work from this one, from this point on. What you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and get white. I found that white usually works the best. It just, again, depends on the theme you're going for. If you're going for a darker theme, go ahead and use black. But for this tutorial, we're using white. And you're going to want to get your brush. And most tutorials that I've seen out there about 2D backgrounds have you doing stuff with circles. And that works well. It does work well, actually. It works really well. Especially if you use stuff like this, shape dynamics, and if you want to look at my options, you can see them all here. Scattering, you can see all of my options on here, and then you want to check on transfer as well. And that's clicked on this right here, and all that does is it makes it to where your brush does like an effect like that. And this looks really good. It actually ends up looking really good, especially if you go change its mode to overlay, change its opacity to like 10%, go right above it, change your brush size a little bit, and then, you know, just do a little bit of that, and then go like 20%. Let's go one more layer, even bigger, and overlay again, and let's do this one 30%. And as you can see, you're already starting to get this really nice looking background. And that's what most people are going to teach you, but I want to show you some other things you can do. Over here on the side, go ahead and create another layer, and you're going to get your brush tool, and then you're going to want to look at your other brushes. And you can download brushes from all different kinds of sources, so go and get some brushes, but for this example, I only need to show you the same brush. So here we have the circle. All I'm going to do is just this. You're just going to just click at different points like that. So kind of like how we were using the random, the scattering effect, except now what you're going to do is you're going to go to filter and blur. And in here you'll find all different kinds of options, and you can use any of them that you want. I recommend using stuff like Gaussian blur, motion blur, and radial blur. So we're going to go ahead and use motion blur, and as you can see, it's like blurred them like this. So we're going to change that to an angle, and as you can see, that looks really cool. So you can go overlay, bam, change its opacity to like 50, let's go like 30, and then go ahead and create another layer, get the brush tool again, get a little bit smaller, let's go some more okay, we've got a little bit more dots, go ahead and go filter, blur, let's go motion blur again, and let's go ahead and decrease this motion blur. No, actually, let's go ahead and keep it like that. Actually, let's decrease it. That's right, let's decrease it, and let's go ahead and then go right back on top of that, go Gaussian blur. Jump that up a little bit, and then change that down to like 50. More like, probably 30 again. There we go. Okay, and as you can see, you're starting to get, you have two different styles. You have this like blurred style of background, and then you have the dotted style of background to work with. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to go on top of everything, and this is where we're going to start using the other type of gradient. So go ahead and change your fore color to black again, and go back to the gradient tool, and then you're going to go ahead and click on this right here. And this tool is really useful because it creates this sideways gradient, but you're not going to want that blue color there, so you're going to go ahead and click on there, and then you're going to want to click on this, which is your foreground color to your transparent. And then all you're going to do is just click in these corners and just drag. And that's all you got to do for that. Just drag, 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 drag. Okay. And then you're going to go ahead and just put a little bit of bottom on there. That way we can use black as their background color. Add a little bit more black on there. I want it a little bit more concentrated. And then since you're going with a blue theme, go ahead and double click on here. Go to color overlay. And then you're going to go ahead and go with a bluish theme, and then lower that just a little bit so it's still like a dark colored overlay effect. I'm going to go ahead and even lower this a little bit because it ended up a little bit darker than I would have wanted it. And there you go. So you can see that you have two different styles to work with, and when we talk about color corrections later on in the series, we'll get into even more with that. You can use all different kinds of patterns. It just depends on what brushes you have. See, you can even go back in on top of this one with these dots. If I go ahead and show you, just go ahead and take the dots, copying them, and then I'm going to go ahead and rotate them 180 and just drag them straight over here. They're a little bit too standout-ish with texture. So we'll go ahead and just lower all of them to about 5. And there you can see that you have a texture that you're going to be working with for your background. So, but this is just a very basic of what we'll be working with. So I just wanted to give you guys an introduction to the tutorial series and teach you a little bit about how to make your background when you're doing 2D backgrounds. And remember, you can use any colors, you can use any of these specs under filter. This is one of the best options in Photoshop. And you can use any brushes. So remember to go out there and go look for brushes. And the next tutorial will probably be out at 40, 50 subs. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Remember to like and share it with your friends. Support what we're trying to do with this team. And I will see you guys later. Peace.